Hello, and thank you for joining us on Classic Vinyl Podcast. This is the podcast where we listen to and review songs and albums from the classic vinyl era of the 60s and 70s. I am one of your hosts, Justin. Here in the basement studio, I am joined with the guys whose words will make you out and out. My co-host, Tyler.
Always on the outs with somebody.
I know you are.
In and out and in and out.
But I let you in the studio today, so we're fine.
Yeah, that's very kind of you to let me in. I never take that for granted. I feel like I need to apply every week.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying yes. We are doing some yes today.
Yeah, that's right.
Roundabout. And this is a song that was emailed to classicvinylpodcast@gmail.com by Tate in Raleigh, North Carolina. I believe that's North Carolina. I don't know if there's another Raleigh.
Yeah, I may assume so. And I'm assuming it's pronounced Tate.
Well, and I've got some things to say to Tate when we're done with this song, but why don't we go into a little history on the band Yes?
All right.
No, you're supposed to say yes.
Yes.
So they're a band formed in London, England in June 1968. Founders were John Anderson on vocals, Chris Squire on bass and vocals, Peter Banks on guitar, Tony Kaye on keyboards, and Bill Brufford on drums. They're still active to this day, so they're still going, but core members were Anderson, Squire, Howe, Wakeman, White, Bruford, Kaye, and Rabin. So you've got Anderson and Squire. They built a progressive rock band. You know what they called it?
No.
Well, the opposite of no. Yeah, They called it yes. So, I mean, and this is an interesting band because they blend rock, classical jazz, a little bit of psychedelic. I mean, it's very interesting music. And their first contract they signed was with Atlantic Records in 1969. This band sold almost 40 million albums worldwide. Without a doubt, when we talk progressive rock, Yes is probably one of the most influential progressive rock bands there is, if not the very most influential one when it comes to progressive. Their long form suites on these songs, the complex arrangements, the serious playing styles, and you get the vocal harmonies, everything in this. And the vocal harmonies are very high, too, which is kind of interesting. But all of that is explained in this one song in a way, too. I mean, the peak era of this band was from 1971 to 77. They did have a bit of a commercial comeback in the mid-'80s with Owner of a Lonely Heart. I think if you know that song, which, funny enough, in the mid-'80s was the only number one single this band has ever had, which is kind of interesting because I think the progressive rock in the time didn't get quite its due that it was deserved. But as far as their discography, studio albums, have released 24 albums, 18 live albums, 1 EP, 15 compilations, and 44 singles. Now, here in the U.S., they had 18 albums in the top 100, 15 albums in the top 40, and 7 albums in the top 10, which is pretty darn good. Close to the Edge hit number 3, Fragile hit number 4, and Relayer hit number 5. Now in the UK, 20 albums in the top 100, 18 in the top 40, 9 in the top 10. Their top there was Topographic Oceans actually hit number 1, Going for the One hit number 1, and Drama hit number 2. Now in Canada, they had 12 albums in the top 100, 11 in the top 40, and 5 in the top 10. Tales from the Topographic Ocean hit number 4, Fragile hit number 6, and Close to the Edge hit number 7. Now, singles, as far as those are concerned, here in the U.S., 11 of those singles hit the top 100, 5 in the top 40, and 1 top 10 song. And that only song that hit top 10 was Owner of a Lonely Heart, that, like I told you earlier, hit number 1. Roundabout hit number 13, and Leave It hit number 24. In the UK, 13 top 100 singles, 6 top 40s, and 1 top 10. You had Wondrous Stories hit number 7. Owner of a Lonely Heart didn't do quite as well in the UK. It hit number 28. And Going for the One hit number 24. Canada singles, 10 in the top 100, 5 in the top 40, 1 top 10 hit. Owner of a Lonely Heart, that was their top 10 hit up there, hit number 1 as well. It's funny how a lot of these things, it seems like Canada and US kind of follow each other for the most part.
Yeah.
Roundabout hit number 22 up there, and Leave It hit number 25. I think really their biggest success did come in the 80s with Owner of a Lonely Heart. That's a huge song. they kind of remind me of Heart, and I don't mean musically at all. I just mean that they made their big approach in the 70s and were popular and all that, but then had a big hit in the 80s that really blew them wide open.
Yeah.
So they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2017. They're still touring to this day. So you did have Chris Squire pass away in 2015. Peter Banks died in 2013, and Alan White in 2022. As far as the legacy of this band, I mean, they are rock giants, and more in particular, progressive rock giants. And I think they really helped define that album length art rock, if you want to call it that. You call it progressive rock, you call it whatever you want to, but serious musicianship and kind of that fantasy sci-fi visual branding that you get with the songs. It's kind of interesting because you really have to pay attention. And this seems like a band to me that you would absolutely devour with your lyrical, or maybe even get lost in with your lyrical wonder.
I could. I'll get to that later.
Yeah. So do you want to get to the song review?
Yeah, let's review it.
And now it's time for the song review.
So Tate wanted to hear what we thought about Yes' Roundabout, but Tyler, what is your history with Yes, and more in particular, Roundabout?
Okay, well, Tate, I will tell you, this song I've heard a lot on the radio, gets a lot of radio play. I don't think I've heard it in its full 8 minutes plus entirety. It seems to me that they have some edited down versions for radio play.
I think they originally did. Yeah, I think most of the time, at least whenever I hear it on the radio now, I'm hearing the whole thing. But
okay, yeah, because it just seems like, and maybe the song, maybe they are playing the full 8 minutes, but I don't know, because it doesn't feel that long until you start looking at your watch and you're like, oh, this song really does go on for a while.
So did you know this song was by Yes, or was it just a song you've heard over the years?
Heard it over the years, didn't know it. Okay, so here's what I was going to say about the lyrics and the, all that. The guy's kind of a mush mouth, so I don't get the clear enunciation to really get what the lyrics are saying. I'm just kind of getting the tone of his voice, and I'm not really getting what the lyrics are.
And see, I feel like I can understand him. He's not singing like somebody you don't understand, but the pronunciation of it is kind of strange. So when you say mush mouth, it's not like, God, I can't understand a thing he's saying. It's just almost, it all sounds different than what he's actually saying until you read the lyrics. But it's a good vocal too.
It's a good vocal. It's just, he's kind of quiet. Well, compared to, I guess maybe the vocals are mixed towards the back.
Yeah, I might disagree with you there, but let's get into a little history on the song first. So it was released on January 19th of 1972 in the U.S. on Atlantic Records. And once again, one of those songs that they didn't release until March of 1972 in the U.K. So the B-side in the U.S. was a song called Long Distance Runaround, and in the UK had Roundabout Part 1 on the A side, and Roundabout Part 2 on the B side, which they had to split. So
it must have been the extended version.
I'm guessing so. So this is from the album Fragile. So the album itself reached number 4 on the US Billboard charts, number 7 in the UK, and number 5 in Canada. So the album did really well. So it sold over 2 million copies in the US and over 5 million copies worldwide. The album is certified by the RIAA here in the U.S. as 2 times platinum. The album is also really well known for the song Long Distance Runaround, which was obviously the B-side to this single, and individual member solo pieces. And this album is really considered a defining progressive rock album. And I hate always saying that, progressive rock, because that's what they define. But really, when it comes down to music, and good music is just good music, whether it's heavy rock or folk rock or whatever you want to call it, but it's good music.
Well, and I wouldn't consider Owner of a Lonely Heart to be progressive. I would consider that to be contemporary of the 80s. This song feels progressive.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Owner of a Lonely Heart, I think, is more playing to hooks and that poppy style. So I think it's a totally different thing.
A pattern that they've already established, right?
Yeah, I don't know it to be true, but I have a feeling this band, as big as they were in the 70s and with what they were trying to do, Owner of a Lonely Heart was their way to get some money, but they probably almost loathe or despise that song for its popularity in some ways.
I think some bands probably that's exactly the case. Is like, oh, this is the one that took off.
Yeah, exactly. We've done all this amazing work, and this is the one here in the 80s, you know. Anyways, this song was written by John Anderson and Steve Howe. Lead vocals on this are by John Anderson. So the musicians on this, as it stands, John Anderson on vocals, Steve Howe on guitars, Chris Squire on bass and backing vocals, Rick Wakeman on keyboards, and Bill Brufford on drums. Now, Chris Squire, I've got some things to say about him because... So this song was recorded in 1971 at Vision Studios in London and produced by Eddie Offord and Yes themselves. Now, Eddie Offord, this kind of goes into something else I was going to comment on, which I'll say now. The beginning of this song has always sounded like Emerson, Lake and Palmer's in the beginning to me. I always got confused which was which, but Eddie Offord has actually worked, obviously with Yes, but he worked with Emerson, Lake and Palmer as well, which is another progressive rock band of the era. So I don't know what's going on there, but I've always thought that. So kind of interesting. But
so Justin, let me jump in here and ask a quick question. That acoustic guitar sound, or this acoustic guitar in the intro, that it sounds like a Spanish guitar. You know, it's really cool sounding. What gives it that sound?
It's that heavy reverb. The environmental reverb is them recording in a stairwell.
Really?
So, I mean, it's kind of like when you get those bands that record their vocals in a bathroom because it reverbs really well. But that's where it's from. You know, there's not all these tips and tricks and these fancy electronics making it happen. You had to go to special rooms to make that kind of stuff work.
Yeah. So this is 1972. This is right in the heyday of playing around with sounds and the acoustics, right?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays you can make it sound anything you want. And this is a pretty long song. It's 8.5 minutes as far as the album version is. And when you really dive into the lyrics, and this is your foray into this stuff, but it's got all kinds of themes in it, right? Mm-hmm. Travel, your perception of the world, spiritual awareness, if you want to call it that. And apparently, according to interviews with John Anderson, he says it's basically was about his experiences touring and observing landscapes, and mostly in Scotland is what it was written about. So I don't know what the roundabout is, if it's a roundabout as we know it on the road, or just being roundabout on the road as a traveling band. I'm not really sure, but
that's one thing that I found noteworthy about this song and the word roundabout, because having been around the United Kingdom a bit, I'll tell you, roundabouts come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. They got some really tiny ones that are basically just a 4-way stop, but there's a little dot in the middle and everybody just naturally circles around that dot to get to their exit. But there's some that go for miles, like, you know, turnpikes where you hit on everybody going the same direction, and then when you find your turn come up, you exit. It's kind of amazing. And he talked about like a lake in the middle of the road, so like this could be a roundabout that's going around a pond of some sort.
And I always figured roundabout meant just roundabout the world, you know, as touring. And who knows, but either way, this became this band's signature song. It was their breakthrough hit here in the United States. And the funny thing is that, you know, everybody kind of a common misconception is they thought this was always a big radio hit, but it did have to be edited for single release before it received any kind of mainstream exposure or success. But it did reach number 13 on the U.S. Billboard charts, which I think is pretty low for this song, honestly, but did not chart in the U.K. Yeah, it reached, I think, number 14 in Canada, so it did okay, but for as much as you hear this song now and as much that's going on in it, I think that's kind of crazy. You know, the single did reach about 1 million copies sold, but this is a band album, without a doubt. And
something else that I've noticed about the UK is being like on an island about the size of California, they don't do a whole lot of like road trip driving sort of stuff. So here in the United States and Canada as well, driving is part of our culture. So a song about driving or going in your roundabout way, any song that's like about car culture is going to do better here.
And I find this song more about nature than actual car culture, but it's almost like it should be on any driving those compilations of a bunch of driving songs. It just seems to make sense. Also, because of the sonic qualities of this song, it's perfect for cranking up inside a good system in a car. But
It really is.
there's live versions on this on their album Yes Songs and a bunch of live releases, and it's always on their compilations and things like that. There are a bunch of early rehearsal and alternate versions that are on a bunch of their deluxe versions of their albums and box sets and things like that. There's a bunch of them out there, and this song's been covered by a ton of artists, too many to name, but they've changed it up a lot and things like that. But this song, I think, was a big beginning for that progressive movement, if you want to call it that. I mean, really influenced complex song structure and putting these things together, and is almost another advance in studio work and what you could do, and showing people that were just virtuosos on their instruments and using synthesizers and things just to get cool sounds, And one fact I noticed while I was researching this song is we always talk about that Rolling Stone Top 500 that's voted on. I think it's some of them are by the fans. This has never appeared on one of those top 500 song lists. And that's crazy for how influential this band and this song has been, because it's been obviously a huge hit for them. I think even we talk about Owner of a Lonely Heart being their biggest song. This is their biggest song. Let's no doubt about it.
I have certainly heard this song more often than I have heard Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Yeah, and I mean, this song's been widely used in television, film, pop culture. It's been used all over the place in commercials and things like that. So this is a big song.
I do have another question for you, Justin. So jumping back here, you said that it had to be edited in order to get its commercial success. So was that edited for content time? Was it just remixing it?
Time. Simply time. Because
did it go even longer than this then?
No, it was shorter.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah, they edited it down to about 4.5 minutes for radio. And because at the time, you just didn't play a lot of 8-minute songs on the radio.
Yeah.
Especially if you weren't a well-known band yet and hadn't made it. I think after it was edited down, then, it became something. But yeah, a good song. So after this week, Tyler, listening to Yes-Roundabout, you're going to dive into some lyrics and things here, I know. So why don't you tell me what your thoughts on this song are?
Well, here's the thing, Justin. I really want to dive into some lyrics, but I couldn't really get them. I've listened to it over and over and over again, and I get so carried away with the instruments. And he's just not really shouting out what the words are. I'm getting a bunch of it. Let me tell you, the instruments steal the show. And it's amazing because, so you have that, I want to call it a Spanish guitar because it's that acoustic guitar. It's so crisp and it's so clean, but it's got that little reverberation from being recorded in the stairwell. And it's just like a little strum open, and it even ends with that same single strum that's so crisp and clean. I love it. But it's like walking into the garage, flipping on the light, or opening the car door, and the interior dome light comes on, and you get in, and then it starts to play firing up the engine, and then off you go. And the rest of the song is just that engine chugging along and going for a ride. Who knows where you're going, if it's through a bunch of different roundabouts. He sings about this like it's a metaphor between, say, rush hour commuting and a romance, which I found is just really a horrifying idea that, okay, our love is like driving to work. It's not very romantic when you think of it that way. But if you think about it as a love song, it's like, okay, we're on this journey. Who knows where it's going to go, but we're going to just take the roundabout way there, and we're going to see all the sights that are to be seen on this journey together.
Well, if you're comparing life to a journey, then you have no choice but to take the roundabout way there.
Exactly.
In life, there is no super straight highway from one direction to the other. There are going to be lakes in the roundabout. There are going to be bumps in the road and things like that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, mentioning that, just this last week, I saw a picture of the straightest, longest or I guess the longest straight stretch of highway in the world, and it's in Saudi Arabia. And it's like, you look at this thing, it's like 100 or almost 200 miles of just straight road. I'd be terrified to drive it because, I mean, a road like that, there's a reason why they don't usually build roads straight like that. But I guess where it's at, you just want to get from one part of the desert to the other.
And it's funny because you could drive 100 miles on a regular road with a couple turns. It's no different.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you can see where you're going, it changes it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, anyways, back to the song.
Back to the song. I mean, the instruments on this are amazing. His voice, it's not a bad sounding voice. I'm not able to really keep up with it because the keyboard is stealing the show. The bass, that's another one in this, is the bass guitar is different. It's almost like a lead bass, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt, it's a lead bass. And that's something I was going to get to is, I said earlier, Chris Squire. To me, the bass on this song is the number one winner and number one everything. This song has a lot going on, but that bass in this song, without a doubt, like you said, it is the lead instrument, and it is the best instrument, in my opinion. This song on a good system like we're listening to here today is absolutely amazing.
Oh, for sure. One of my favorite parts of this song is towards the end. You get this instrumental interlude where it's just the instruments out playing and jamming, and it's a great time. There's a lot going on, but it's also smooth and clean. It just sounds beautiful together. And so one of the progressive things about this is you're going to hear this keyboard style in a lot of songs throughout the mid to late 70s. And even on into the 80s, you're going to hear some of the keyboard and the synthesizer. But you're not going to hear this kind of style before 1972. This song is progressive rock. It is a front runner to what it's doing. And so that's something that I think needs to be pointed out as well. And like I said, it ends after over 8 minutes with that same beautiful strum of the strings on that acoustic guitar as it started with. And I love it. What are your thoughts about this one, Justin?
So obviously, you know what I think of the bass, but I'm going to say it again as well. But before that, I think what's most amazing about this song is how much is going on and how well it's produced and how well it's mixed and sounds, because it has an amazing sound. I love the intro. Funny enough, going back several years, because I like Emerson, Lake and Palmer in the beginning, when I thought that was it coming on, I was always disappointed when it was Roundabout instead.
That's kind of funny.
But I came to love Roundabout much more in a different way. And just let me go back to it again. The bass in this by Chris Squire is absolutely amazing. It's without a shadow of a doubt, like you said, the lead instrument. It's mixed really well to the front. You hear that much more than a lot of the guitar and everything. I think the bass and the keyboards pretty much run this whole thing, or the synth, whatever you want to call it. Just absolutely amazing. The keyboard work is absolutely amazing. You get to the part where it's in and around the lake. Once you start saying that, the guitar, it's got some excellent guitar work and keyboard work there. There's just so much going on. And I noted that when we got to the lyric, along the drifting cloud, that's when you get to that little instrumental breakdown that you're talking about. And that's really cool, the way it shifts. This song's got like 3 different modes to it.
Yeah.
And then you get more great bass work and keyboard work after that. And the funny thing about this song is I said to myself, this is the most mellow, heavy song I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of mellow, but it's got that bass just drives it so heavy. So we talk about progressive rock, but it's almost hard rock in a way too.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, but it's got a really good keyboard solo on it that I really enjoy. And I think the guitar ending to it couldn't have been more perfect, the way it kind of mirrors the intro in a little bit different key.
Yeah.
But it mirrors it, and I think that's perfect. I don't think you could have ended it any different way. And the lyrics that I can understand, and I've listened to them a long time, it's got so much imagery in it, like mountains come out of the sky and they stand there. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They really do. And there's just a ton of lyrics like that. We could go through it all. I mean, you need I know you're a lyric guy, so
Yeah.
you really should sit down and read.
That's
As you're
what-
listening to it, read the lyrics.
That's exactly what I need to do. Is I need to get like the lyrics list to read through, to read along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to get the lyrics to read along. Do you want to rate the song?
Let's rate it.
Song rating.
Okay, listener, if this is your first episode, I will briefly explain our rating scale. It is 0 to 10, 10 being the best. I was going to put this one at a 6. I wasn't really digging it, but let me tell you something.
Let me ask you, is that because of the lyrics that you didn't understand?
Some of it, yeah.
Because
So,
that tends to be your,
my make or break.
yeah, sometimes. And I'm trying to break you out of your make or break.
And it is working to an extent. I am getting better. I'm now listening to this song for everything, and the best way that I can describe all of these sounds going together, it's exactly like what's going on underneath the hood of a car when you're out for a drive. There's so many different things going on. You have like a fuel system that's pumping. You've got an oil system that's lubricating. You have a coolant system that's, flowing water through the engine and cooling it through the radiator. You've got your air conditioner running because, it's a hot summer day. You've got the AC gone. So all of this is going on, and it's all going on in harmony. Nothing is grinding against each other. You don't have any like squeal in the power steering or anything. It's all just running and humming so smoothly. So much that like it's a beautiful work of art, and that's exactly what it sounds like. So because of the way that these instruments all play together so seamlessly and perfect, the way it was mixed and edited, I bumped this one up a full point. This is a solid 7, and you can put this one anywhere above that, Justin. I think that's fair, and I always defer to you because your rating's a lot better than mine always.
Well, it's all about kind of first impressions. You've heard this song before. I'm going to be honest with you. If I went back 10, 15 years, I probably would have rated this song a 5 because I don't feel like I fully appreciate it. I've heard this song for the past 35 years, right?
Yeah.
And never, in fact, if anything, like I was saying earlier, it kind of pissed me off because I thought it was in the beginning and then it wasn't in the beginning. And
Yeah.
so whatever. But this song I've come to love. I look at it for what it is. Yes is a band that I haven't explored enough. I know a lot of their hits. I know this album fairly well, but I really need to dive into them. And we did have this on the list. It was bumped back quite a bit. It was going to be a while for us to get to it. I jot down all these songs I want to rate at some point, and then if somebody suggests that want us to, we get it on here. And Tate, I appreciate it because you made me realize how much I really do still love this song, and it's kind of newfound for me in the past 10 years. I rate this song a 9.5.
Wow.
I think this is an absolutely amazing song, and I think this created so much, and the sounds and the way this is produced and the bass, my God, the bass. It's just an amazing song, and I have come to love this song, and I really should. I've always told myself this, that I should explore more. Yes, but I've just got so much music I need to listen to and want to listen to. It's always tough. You know what I mean? But a really good song, without a doubt, as far as I'm concerned. And I think you need to listen to it more and read the lyrics, and I think you'll like it even more.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
So that's Yes and Roundabout. Tate, we appreciate the suggestion. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, want to tell us what you think of our ratings or what you would rate the song, have any songs or albums you'd like us to rate, send them to classicvinylpodcast@gmail.com. We really appreciate you taking your time to listen to us. It means a lot. So until next time, see you later.
See ya.
Thank you so much for listening to Classic Vinyl Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Classic Vinyl Podcast for updates, and also share us with your music-loving friends.